Hello! For this scene, first we will load the test buckets option file. Remember, the configuration files save all the possible settings at the moment they were saved. So it's necessary to check out every setting tab that might affect the scene directly. We're going to check the white balance as pure white or neutral. For interiors, we change the shutter speed to 50. As we are only interested in the interior space, turn off the environmental light. Go to environment and deactivate it. Don't forget to turn off the sunlight too. Now let's go to render output. Enable safe frame to visualize what will be rendered. In aspect ratio, we'll make a portrait frame. The dimensions can be modified later. You'll see the perspective view has changed. This is due to field of view, since it will be the film gate of our camera. We are going to put a value of 35mm. Good. Now let's adjust our view to set up as the camera. Go to View, Animation, Add Scene. Our camera is now established. Let's create a neutral grey generic material RGB 186 and apply it to the entire scene. This will allow us to verify the average exposure. We're going to the top view, and from here we'll create our V-ray light. We position our light out of frame. It's important to mention the white side of our V-ray light will be the side that emits the light, so it's necessary to rotate it to position it correctly. Once we have done this, assign watts as the units to our light. We'll start with 500 watts as our initial value and click Render. The first thing we notice is the big overexposed splotch in this zone. The easiest way to fix this situation is to move the light source away from the wall. This is just a little trick that also photographers in real studios use, and you'll see the overexposure disappearing. Move it about 1 meter away from the wall. And click Render to see the result. Perfect. Now it works well. If it's necessary, let's increase the intensity of the light to 700 watts to achieve a brighter image. We rename the light according to its role. Primary light sounds good. We should work with one light at a time, so that's why we turn off our main light. We'll create our secondary light from the side. Its function will only be to illuminate the shadows produced by the main light a little bit. We position the light and rotate it to face it correctly. And rename it to secondary light. Try with 500 watts. As you can see, the intensity is too high, so we must decrease it to 100 watts. Don't worry about the noise in the shadows. We'll solve that later. Let's make a render to see how the lights work together. If we have set up the light balance correctly, the shadow produced by the secondary light will disappear. It looks very good, but maybe the secondary light is still a little strong, so reduce it again. Remember, one light at a time. Adjust to 75 watts and click Render. Excellent. Now let's see how the lights work together again. Perfect. Now we are going to create a chromatic contrast. For the primary light, we'll give it a slightly cold temperature colour. While in the secondary light, we'll give it a subtle warm accent. You can take advice from the RGB values chart for temperature, but you can do it by eye too. As you can see, an interesting chromatic contrast has been created, hardly noticeable, but very pleasant. Done! The light balance is finished and correct. Before we go to the final render, we'll polish the noise in general of the scene, so there's no reason to worry about that now.